Good morning, Washington! It's the 16th of March, 2011, and we got the radio ratings. Let's go and let's do a quickie here for the radio ratings for you, folks. We're looking at the 25-54 mornings that's age 25-54 mornings for the third week of February. Okay, the mornings for the DC market. Okie dokie, folkies. Tied for 21st place. WMAL and WAVA. Okay, I don't care about any Muslim conspiracies or whatever. This is the reason why Fred Grandy is no longer at WMAL. 21st place in a key demographic. 20th place, the radio station that's really a low-power television station, WDCN, Spanish. 19th place, Frederick Country Outlet, WFRE. 18th place for mornings, Big Tigger. PGC's in trouble. They remain in trouble. This station needs some work. It really does. 16th place, Biaggi and Company on WLZL. This station needs some work. CBS station, another station that needs some work. They're tied with PRS for 16th Gospel there. 15th place, 25-54 mornings. Oh my God, what is that? Oh, WGTS, Christian Contemporary. 14th place, Mike and Mike on WTEM. 12th place, tie. There's no 13th because we have a tie for 12th. WBIG, Tommy Griffiths. And the program director still doing his WI-80 Fresh 94.7 morning show there. 10th place, El Junquetos on JFK. Which, again, they should be doing better than that. All tied with Russ Parr over on KYS. 9th place, Tom Joyner on MMJ. Magic 102.3. In 8th place, Jack DeMonde on Mix 107.3. 7th place, 25-54 mornings, WAMU. The NPR-ish stuff. WIHT Hot 99.5 Kane, 6th place. Elliott on DC 101, 5th. Woo! WHUR, Steve Harvey, 4th. No 3rd place because we have a tie for 2nd. Lou and Lori and Lori and Lori and Lou and Lori and Lou and Lori and Lori and Lou. 2nd, and Boxer. He's doing really well. MZQ had been struggling there for a while, and they seem like they got a good morning show going. And, of course, no surprise, number 1, WTOP. All right, folks, that's the 25-54 morning radio ratings. We've got a little video clip to show you, a remembrance of the old Mix 107.3. Let's take a quick look at it.
When I am out of the office, I'm usually in my car, and when I'm in my car, it's Mix 107.3.
If you work in Washington, half your job is getting to work in the morning.
I look forward to driving in my car. People say, 38-mile commute, and I say, nope. Not with Mix 107.3. It makes the drive go a lot quicker.
Mix 107.3 traffic is actually far superior to the news station where I used to turn to get traffic information.
It's everything together. It's the music, it's the personalities, the news. It's that mix of everything together that makes Mix 107 special.
Maybe.
Okay, I don't know the date on that one. It's probably the 1990s, 1990-ish circa, something like that. So, okay. All right, folks. What do we got for the big news today? Wow. Big news. The big news. That's reported that Hubbard will be taking over WTOP and WFED on the 1st of May or somewhere in that vicinity. We reported back in January that Minneapolis-based Hubbard Broadcasting was buying a whole bunch of stations from Bonneville, which is Salt Lake City-based, including all the stations in the Washington, Chicago, and Cincinnati clusters. And, of course, Bonneville only really has 2 stations in its Washington cluster, WTOP, and Federal News Talker, WFED. There's also a little AMer, but, that's worth about $10. Big news today. Apparently, Dan Snyder has asked the Washington Redskins to drop the name of one of its blogs from Redskins Insider. He doesn't like that the copywritten name, trademark name Redskins to be used by the Washington Post. So apparently the Washington Post has given into his demands, and they've changed the name of the Redskins Insider blog to the Football Insider. Now we got to wonder now, is Dan Snyder going to request payment every time a media outlet mentions the name of his team? What are we supposed to say? The Washington football team now. Anytime, there is a thing called fair use, okay? And fair use is in the copyright law, and that generally means we can use terms like Pepsi and McDonald's and the Redskins, if we're using it in editorial copy, or, we're not using it to do some kind of promotional material. That's fair use. And it seems to me that the Washington Post can certainly use the name Redskins as the name of a blog. What, are they going to not be able to even use the term Redskins in the Post anymore? It seems crazy. That's just nuts. Bennett Zier, a longtime DC radio management veteran. Remember, he used to head Clear Channel's DC radio cluster. Well, he also helped Dan Snyder, Redskins owner, start his Red Zebra radio unit. He's headed on down to Norfolk Way, where he'll oversee 4FMers. And a lot of people on Bennett's Facebook page yesterday kissing his ass. I guess they, what the heck? He may be back in the market, and they may need a job. So that's that. It makes me mad. I ranted yesterday about Katie Couric going to that Gridiron Club thing. Man, that woman she's making me mad now. I watched the network newscast last night. Diane Sawyer's over there in Tokyo. A lot of the anchors are over there in Tokyo. Shepard there on Fox is over there in Tokyo. Katie Couric is just sitting there in the studio here in the, wherever, Washington or New York. This woman, she really needs to be given some stupid job where she can host a morning talk show, and they really need to get a qualified journalist, in her role. I'll tell you, Walter Cronkite, I'm sure, is spinning in his grave watching Katie Couric's coverage of this whole Japan thing. CBS's coverage has been good, but Katie, I don't know, she's just getting a little too big for herself over there. And I'm tired of reading all these damn press reports about Katie. Report the news. Don't make the news. Anyhow, we were getting into some discussion on the mailbag at DCR TV about the what's going on with 105.9 The Edge. Classic rocker started about a year and a half ago. And the ratings just don't seem to be going anywhere. They got some great people on the station, Kirk McEwen and Mike O'Meara doing mornings. They got Surf on the station. They got some great people there. The ratings just aren't going anywhere. I think it's the music. I don't think a lot of Washingtonians want to hear a lot of that ossified classic rock, or turgid classic rock, what I call it, heavy, classic rock. We don't want to hear that. I mean, it might be fun once in a blue moon to listen to all those old bands, but we just, people don't want to hear that every morning when they're getting ready to go to work. Kirk and Mike have a good radio show in the morning, but, then they come on and then here's this big old fossil of a classic rock song breaking it up. I don't know. And then you flip away from it. I don't know. Here's my idea. We've just been reported that, there's all over this country, AM news talkers are getting relayed on FM. We're seeing it all over the place. Just saw it in Portland, where a longtime KUFO, a rock station, bit the dust, and KXL, its co-owned news talker, is taking the frequency. I'm thinking, maybe that's the way to go for 105.9 in Washington. 105.9 is owned by Citadel, along with WMAL. WMAL's not been doing great in the ratings. It's been skewing really old. What if WMAL, and I've said this before, suddenly got relayed on both 6:30 a.m. and 105.9 FM? It would put it a leg up, because a lot of young folks don't listen to AM. They just don't. It's just not even there. So we put WMAL on AM. Now we got to do something with the morning show especially. Well, here's my brilliant idea, okay? Keep Kirk, McEwen, and Mike O'Meara. I like them. I think they've got some promise. But let's take Chris Plant from the midday slot, or the mid-morning slot at 9 o'clock. Let's move Chris Plant into mornings. So we could have the Kirk, Mike, and Chris show. Kirk, Mike, and Chris. Something like that. Maybe keep Brian Neiman on to do news or something. I don't know. But Kirk, Mike, and Chris. Mike O'Meara is a lefty. I mean, he's supported Democrats on the old Don and Mike show. Chris Plant is a righty. Wouldn't that be a great chemistry to have Kirk, They're going to have Mike O'Mara and Chris Plant going at it, and then maybe Kirk could be kind of the moderate referee kind of thing. I think a morning show like that, breaking the mold, I think WMAL is probably going to go for something more traditional, like they're going to hire some wonky kind of guy or whatever to replace Fred Grandy in the morning slot. I really think maybe we ought to rock and roll it a little bit with WMAL, and so put them on FM, keep Kirk and Mike doing mornings with Chris Plant, and then maybe shake up the schedule a little bit, keep Rush, maybe move Sean Hannity to another slot, get an afternoon show going in there, and euthanize, YOUTHNIze the station. That's my philosophy anyhow, so I know they won't do it. Since I mentioned it, it won't happen. Anyhow, I'm over the 10-minute mark, way too long today. And don't forget to stay tuned.